Welcome to the first roster review today. Now, just a heads up, I've had like 110 people message me and ask me to do roster reviews. So please have patience. Give me some time to get to it because I am going to get to them all. Somebody asked, do you have to be a Patreon supporter to get a roster review? No, you do not. Patreon is much appreciated. It helps me out. You do not have to be a supporter because you guys are giving me content. And some people think roster reviews are boring. I understand that. But even if I can help just one person with the review, I'm happy because I like to help people in the game. So you don't have to be a Patreon supporter, but do understand it is going to take some time to get to all of these, which is okay. I'm excited, and maybe I'll start posting 2 videos today, one regular video and one roster review. We'll see how it goes. But again, please have patience. So today we're looking at Dagger487. Actually, he is a Patreon supporter of mine. And he's 26th ranked in Arena. I know he can get to 1. I've seen it before. And he's 11 in Fleet, and he can get up there as well. And he has the Houndstooth at 7-star. We're just looking at the basic here. But we're going to go into the inventory, and I'm going to look at each character faction. I'm going to look at the... First, we're going to look at the Legendary characters and the Hero Journeys characters. So he has CLS. That's huge. He has Jedi Training Rey. That's huge. Let's check to see if he has Revan, because that's another Hero's Journey character. He may not, which is fine. He doesn't. Can't complain about that because this is still a great roster without Revan. And again, we're looking at Legendary characters, Hero Journeys characters. So he has CLS, he has Jedi Training Rey. He has a Zeta on both of them. He has them at gear 12. He has Raid Han, excellent character. Chewie, which means he had to use his bounty hunters to get him to 7 stars. Awesome. R2. Awesome, great character. Emphas Nest is not a legendary character, but she's one of the best characters in the game, in my opinion. And he has her at gear 12. Palpatine is a legendary character. BB-8, Grandmaster Yoda. He has Mother Talzin. He has a very, very solid lineup here. I'm going to go through it by factions also, by the way. So we're going to look at bounty hunters. Now, his bounty hunters are good enough to get Chewie. So you can't complain. That means they have to be decently strong. He has Bosk at gear 12 with 3 gear 12 pieces on him and 2 Zetas. And let me tell you, if I were him right now, I'm guessing you're doing this. You have the Houndstooth at 7-star, and the Houndstooth node also has Jango Fett in it. I'd want to try to get Jango and actually Embo to 7 stars. You're working on Aura. That's great. But if you don't have Aura, which is she's great for the Sith raid, Embo is a great leader as well. Bounty hunters, I think, are underrated in some aspects of the game. Are they good in Arena? No. They're great in ships right now. And Territory Wars and Grand Arena, they're huge. Because I can win on offense with them, and I usually put a Bosk lead on defense, and then I'll use a Jango or Embo lead on offense when I'm going 3v3 or depending on how I'm working. And they're a huge asset to my team, so you're doing well here. Good work. Look at Clone Troopers. Man, I hope that these guys get reworked. Rex is still a great character, and if you're, a mid-game player looking to have a great leader, please go get Rex. But there's nothing really to call home about right now. I hope they get better because I actually enjoy the clones. I hope they add a few more. I don't know where they could go with that. Maybe Wolf, Gregor. But with the new Clone Wars season coming out, I definitely think they'll get reworked and maybe add more. But, I'm not really going to say, wow, your team stinks because you don't have these guys at 7 stars. No, they're meaningless. You have to prioritize in this game to be good. And, as a non-whale or people that don't spend a lot of money, clones are just not people to go after. So that's smart. Droids, interesting here. He has R2 at 7 stars. BB-8, I'm going to tell you right now. Just by looking at your roster right here, and I'll make a summation again at the end, you want to give BB-8 the Zeta because you are going to be able to dominate in the Sith raid with BB-8's rolling with the punches Zeta. And right there, roll with the punches. He's going to be able to call somebody else to assist when he goes out of turn. It's an amazing ability, and seriously, in the Heroic Sith raid, which is very important to complete right now, it's excellent. And not to mention, in Jedi Training raid teams in general, this makes the team so much better. So just looking at this at the beginning here, I would say the next Zeta should go on BB-8. Let's actually look at R2, because the combat analysis also is very important if you're going to use a JTR team without Visas for the Heroic Sith raid. because he's going to be passively cleansing when everybody else gets a crit, and it's an unbelievable ability, and I think it's going to be great for a long time in the game. So looking at the droids, your levels are pretty decent. They look powerful, but I would think about putting the other Zeta on BB-8 first, and then putting the combat analysis on R2. It's hard to do the heroic Sith raid or the Sith raid in general without the combat analysis on R2. So these are the two characters. Some people would say switch it around, give combat analysis first, and then give BB-8 his Zeta. I would go with BB-8 first for all areas of the game, but that's where I would go next. And otherwise, all these other characters, they're nothing very good right now. Maybe start farming General Grievous a little bit if you have some shard currency to do that, because I think he's going to get a rework. But otherwise, can't complain at all. You have T3 M4 to 7 stars, which means you're going to get Revan pretty soon, so be pumped up about that. Empire. Let's look at the Empire characters here. Well, you have Thrawn, and you have his leadership Zeta, I'm guessing. No. His ebb and flow. That's his best ability. Good work. That's what you want. Vader, Palpatine, TIE Fighter Pilot, Grand Moff Tarkin, Death Trooper, Shore Trooper, General Veers. Now, here's what I'm going to check out here. Well, I'll get there in a second. Magma Trooper through Royal Guard, all the way down here. These characters aren't as important, in my opinion. Now, Range Trooper, a lot of people have been telling me that I need to get him started up and leveled up for my Imperial Troopers team, because he's so much better, and he makes the team even better. And the Imperial Troopers are one of my favorite factions, so I'm going to be slowly working on that. But let's look at your Imperial Troopers team. You have Thrawn, Vader, and Palpatine, which are three of the most important. I would throw Tarkin and Death Trooper in there as well. Shore Trooper is a good tank. But the Imperial Troopers, Veers, if you're looking for some more Zetas to spend, and you have let's say you have a few in backup, the Aggressive Tactician is a decent Zeta, and it can really take... Imperial Troopers are a great faction because they can be used in all areas of the game. Not in Arena right now, but they're great against Night Sisters in Grand Arena and Territory War, and you really can't go wrong with this, in my opinion. So definitely think about that. And let's see here. In actually leveling up the entire Imperial Troopers team, I use Veers, Shore Trooper, Death Trooper, Snow Trooper, and Stark. Some people say take Shore Trooper or Death Trooper out and put Range Trooper in. That's probably what I'm going to do. But overall, pretty solid Empire team. And again, with Zetas, I'm recommending Zetas, but I'm not saying you have to do them. If you think there's going to be a new character coming out that you want to save some Zetas for, go ahead. Ewoks. Okay, really, I made a vow never to farm Ewoks in the game until they were needed for C-3PO. And honestly, they very much helped me in Territory War and Grand Arena as well. So if C-3PO is a priority for you next time around, I would start farming these guys. He is a great character. But if you still got to focus on Revan should come first, in my opinion. So I would keep working on those Old Republic characters, which I'll get to here in a bit. But really level these guys up and put a Zeta on Chief Chirpa if you have time to get 3PO and use them in Territory War and Grand Arena, because they're not an awful faction. They're actually pretty decent. They can handle some meta teams. But again, it's all about prioritization. I give you advice here, but you don't have to follow it. You have to, you decide what you want to do and where you want to go. So Ewoks, it's not much of a concern because they're used to get 3PO and they're a good team, but there's other things you can go after. First Order. You have a Zeta on Kylo Ren Unmasked. That's excellent. I'm not a First Order expert. It's probably a team I should start working on more. I have the First Order TIE Pilot and Kylo Ren Unmasked Gear 12, and I don't have First Order Executioner geared up at all, and I should, because he's a great character, and I think they're very good for Territory Wars and Grand Arena. I don't have them at low levels. 2 at level 12, 3 at level 10, or Gear 10, excuse me. They're just... I don't utilize them as enough, and I think they'll get better when the next movie comes out or when they add more characters. BB 8E, BB9E, and then we have Snoke potentially with his Praetorian Guards. You're going to have Hux and probably a capital ship, so definitely some people I would look into here. But honestly, a lot of people, this is my opinion again. This is my review. Some people say you need to get them to Gear 12 right now. In my opinion, they're not as important right now. So I think you're doing fine with First Order. Let's go with the Galactic Republic. Actually, we're going to look at these in different sections because we're going to look at Jedi Geonosians. Unless you're using them for ships, I think you're fine with where they're at. I wouldn't prioritize them right now at all. You're doing pretty good. And unless they're needed for an event, or like I said, you're using them in ships, don't worry about it. Imperial Troopers, we went over. Jawas, let's see what these are all about. Now, I would have told you, like, a year ago, maybe even 6 months ago, to get farming Jawas up as far as you could so you could get the crit damage mod sets, but we don't need that anymore. So again, they're not very useful in the game. They probably will be in Grand Arena and Territory War if you can find some synergy there, especially in 3v3, but you're fine with that. Now Jedi. Okay. Ezra Bridger, my favorite character that's a non-legendary character. I have his Zeta like you do, which is great. Looks like you have him modded correctly. Grandmaster Yoda. Decent. Let's look at the stats here. 222 speed. For the sake of not making the video like 2 hours long, I'm going to look at the characters and suggest them first, and then I'm going to actually look at your arena team and look at the mods on that team, and I'll tell you if you're working in the right direction, because if you know how to mod your arena team, you're going to know how to mod the rest of the characters in the game, and you can watch my how to mod videos as well. General Kenobi, 7-star, great. Basta and Jolie, 7 stars, excellent. Otherwise, when Juhani becomes farmable, farm her right away, because you know she's going to be needed for something. Jedi, you know, besides Revan, who you're going to get, let's see, I'm just quick scrolling through here. Mace Windu, that's what I was looking for, right where my cursor is at. I think he's going to get a rework, so maybe you want to slowly gear him up if you have some, you know, like I said, slowly gear him up, but you have other priorities. I am going to slowly gear him up because I think he's going to get a rework and maybe be dominant. But otherwise, everything else looks good here. You know, it's all about prioritization. Night Sisters. Oh boy, your Night Sisters team looks better than mine is, and mine is not very good. You have Sajid Gear 12 and both Zetas on her. Nice job. This looks like it will be solid for the Sith raid. Obviously, if you get them to Gear 12, that'd be better. And maybe put one on Talzin, a Zeta, but no, I'm not going to complain much at all about this. Because obviously, you use a Saj. You've probably worked on this for the heroic Sith raid team, and they're great characters in the game. Actually, I consider them partially meta because they can still be used in arena. They're great in Territory Wars, Grand Arena. I have them actually undervalued, and I need to focus on them more. Probably my biggest mistake in the game was not working on them as hard as they do. I have them at Gear 10 and Asajj at Gear 11, but definitely need to work on these more. If it's a priority, if the heroic Sith raid is a priority, definitely take a look at it. Now here we go, Old Republic characters. Very, very important. Look at this. You have all the characters you need to get Jedi Knight Revan, you have at 7-star. Excellent job. You're ready for the next Revan event. And again, the event is not that tough, actually. And if you get Revan and he's still meta and you want to use him in arena, I'm going to tell you right now, put his Zeta on Jolie. On his, that looks pretty bad. Because it's amazing. It helps the team so much more on defense, hold on defense as well. Okay, now let's look at the... Oh, and again, just quick, when Juhani, Karth, Canderous, when those guys become farmable in Bastila Shan Fallen, prioritize that, because you know they're going to be needed for a different character. We don't know which, Darth Revan or Darth Malak. Phoenix, one of my favorite factions in the game. You have Thrawn, so really that's not as important. As long as you have Thrawn, you know, level them up as you want to use them in different aspects of the game. Rebels. Yeah, you have Chewie, R2, Han Solo, Commander Luke Skywalker, Zeta. You really can't go wrong with... Oh, I said you had Ezra Zeta. You don't. I'm sorry. You really can't go wrong with those 4 Rebel characters. They're great characters. You get that other Zeta on R2. And C-3PO will be good, yes, but this is a very good start to a very solid Rebel team. And otherwise... I have Chirrut and Baze to 7-star. Sorry, somebody just walked in, kind of distracted me there. And they're great characters. I think you have Chirrut at 7-stars, great. I think they're great in 3v3 because they have synergy. You put them with a Jinn leader, I think they're very useful. But otherwise, your Rebels are pretty solid with these guys. Again, it's about prioritization. I'll say that 100 times. Resistance. You have Jedi Training Rey, Gear 12, awesome. R2, you have the Zeta on Finn, which I do not. Resistance Trooper is the next character you should gear up as far as you can. and get as powerful as you can, get as many pieces on, because he is the glue that puts the rest of that JTR team together in the Heroic Sith Raid. Some people switch when they have 3PO in now, they'll switch out Rey and put in 3PO for her, but you still use both because Rey hits big time hard too, but Resistance Trooper is the one to focus on. You get that other Zeta on BB or on R2, get a Zeta on BB-8, level up Resistance Trooper, you're going to be doing some big time damage. So decent, and they'll add more characters to that too. Rogue One, which is another Rebel faction, and like I said, you have Jin, you have Chirrut. I'd work on getting Baze to 7 stars. Scoundrels. Okay, this is a faction that I have undervalued myself. And I know I have them undervalued because I've recently faced them in Grand Arena as I faced them and they were on defense and I got destroyed. They had Kira, L3, Nest, Mission, and Zelbar, and I couldn't touch them. I could not touch them. So you have them all at 7 stars actually, those characters. If you want to work on teams for Grand Arena and some Territory War teams, start slowly putting gear on them. But otherwise, it's pretty good. Yeah, young Lando, I don't have him as 7 stars yet. All these other characters are... Vander Chewbacca, I think, could be very good as well. So maybe start looking at him. But otherwise, pretty solid. Separatists, which is one of the weaker factions in the game. You know, Dooku and Asajj are decent, and I think Grievous will get a rework. But, you know, it's not really something you go, I need to level up these Separatists. No, you don't really have to. You're doing fine right now. Wait till some of them get a rework. And again, prioritization, I'm going to say that 800 times. Now to the Sith. Zeta on Darth Sion, Gear 12, awesome. Zeta on Vader, Gear 12, awesome. Nihilus with his Zeta, awesome. Emperor Palpatine, I'm guessing you have his leadership Zetaed. Yep, awesome. And the other ones aren't as useful right now. So that's great. You're going to get Trey at some point in time. Save some Zetas and gear for her, and you'll have a dominant Sith squad. So all the characters right now that are meta and important in the game, you have. That's perfect. Smugglers. We kind of just went through them. You have veterans. You have Jedi Training Rey. So the vets you don't need to worry about. You have Emphas Nest at 7 stars as well, which is... She's a scoundrel as well, and she's a great character. She can single-handedly take out some teams. So you're doing good with that. And let's look at the Tuskens, should we? Oh, wow. So... it's they're at 4 stars. Great job. Guess what? They're not meta-defining. They're not something you should spend time on right now unless you're really working to get the upper hand in Grand Arena and you can use them. I've seen some people use them. They're not priorities. So looking at your roster overall, let's go back to all. You have very solid and you're ready for Revan next, which is the most important. Then I would probably say work on that JTR team for the Sith Raid, because you want to be doing damage in the Sith Raid to get Traya, who's probably the next most powerful character, or up there close to tied with Revan. That's where I would go from there. You get the Revan ready. When those new Old Republic characters become farmable, start farming them right away and start working on that JTR team to dominate in the Heroic Sith Raid. And again, this game is about fun. So you decide where you want to go. This is just my advice, but your roster is very solid. For 2.7 million, you have farmed the right characters. You haven't gone astray. You haven't wasted time on characters that aren't powerful. You know, like when I said Tuskens, wow. You have to prioritize, like I said 1,000 times. So that's fine. You're doing great. Now let's take a look at your ships, actually. I'm interested in your ships, because you're obviously able to get first in both. And, you know, looking at your roster here, it's great. How can I actually even criticize anything when you're able to get first in Fleet and Arena? So let's take a look at your fleet here. You have Houndstooth, the 7 stars with the Gear 12 Bosk. That's the best ship in the game right now. I'm farming the Sith Fighters and this when the B-28 Extinction Class Bomber. I'm going to be farming that. You have TIE Advanced. You have TIE Silencer. You have the Phantom and the Ghost. You have the Imperial TIE Fighter. You have Biggs. Your fleet is very similar to mine. I just have more at 7 stars. And you have Thrawn right now, which a lot of people saying the Mace Windu meta is the new meta. In my shard, it's still Thrawn and Tarkin. So your ships are very solid, and you're able to get up there. So that's excellent. Okay, now I'm going to look at your arena team, and we're going to look at the mods there. And you have a Palpatine-led team. Okay, so let's look at Palp. You have a 2 health sets and a potency set, with a speed of 225. Not bad for him. Your potency is at 90%, and you're getting a bunch more because of his leadership ability. Wow. Can't complain about this at all. You're going to be hitting hard. You have that potency to get those stuns, and wow. Great. Can't complain about this at all. So Palpatine is good. I actually have his Crackling Doom Zated, but you don't have to do that. That's not necessary. Palp is good. Let's take a look at Scion. Actually, I'll do it from out here. Scion, you have modded with, okay, throwing the mods all over the place a little bit. You have a health set, a crit chance set, which actually is decent, and then a defensive set. So let's take a look. You have a speed of 255. Golf clap. Health of almost 50,000. Protection of almost 44,000. That's good. Potency up there is 82. Pretty decent. His biggest thing is dispelling, by the way, and getting those. Crit damage is 150. Damage is 3,400. Again, your speed is good. This is a very well modded character. Can't complain at all. If you want to maybe put a crit, you have an extra health set here, and that's because you have the speed in the secondary. I understand that. If you want to probably put crit damage, that wouldn't hurt either, but I understand the rule is the speed in the secondaries, and that's what you're doing. So definitely can't complain with that at all. So Palpatine and Scion are modded excellently. Let's look at Nihilus next. You have a speed set and a health set. You have him at a speed of 229. Excellent. His job is to go, increase cooldowns, and dispel. That's really all there is to it. So there's not much to look at with this character, actually. You have him modded well for speed, decently fast, and that is good. Okay. Now we'll look at Vader. You have his No Escape Zated, and you have a speed set and a health set on him. Now he gets to gain a bunch of bonus speed. So you have 241 speed, and he's going to be gaining, what is it, 40 more? So he's at a speed of 281. That's pretty good. What's his potency? 35. Not going to stick a lot of those dots, even though you're getting a 35% bonus. You have a tenacity, but it has that 18 speed again. I can't complain about anything when you're putting the best speed secondaries in there. Maybe because he gains a bunch of bonus speed, you would thinking about changing that to a potency to get more dots to stick. That would just be my one suggestion, but if this works for you, don't change. Don't change at all. And then Thrawn. I'm interested in your Thrawn. He has a speed set. You have a health set. You have him at a speed of 286. Pretty darn good. Really, speed is what matters for him because it's his fracture that matters. You're not really looking for much else. See, 18 in the speed there. 13 speed there. 19 speed there. 16 speed there. 23 speed there. Nice mod. 32 speed. Yep, well modded. This is the reason you're able to get to 1 in arena is because of the mods you have in these characters. A badly modded team with these characters you'd be able to struggle. Mods is a big part of the game, as I'm trying to say, and you have the proper Zetas on them, so you are in the right direction. Like I said, really, with you, JTR maybe for that Heroic Sith raid, but just keep going in the right direction you're going. Sorry for making this a little long. All of you don't have to watch it, but I know Dagger will. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the subscribe button, like the video, click the notification bell so you can be alerted to all videos that I post. Also, leave comments in the comment section below. Do you like this? Do you not like this? I'm putting a link to my Discord server and Patreon page in the description below, so make sure you check that out. Otherwise, peace out, and may the Force be with you.